a great weekend of fights, and Anthony Joshua and Sean O'Malley are the star of the show. To really put it bluntly, they are. They are the star of the show. They did amazing in terms of raising their stock into the next level of superstardom. Whereas with Anthony Joshua, he sort of maintained what he had already had going on in terms of being the number one celebrity pro boxer in England. But what I mean by that is probably the most famous with the highest notoriety. I mean, you got to remember, in the peak of AJ Mania, the guy met Prince Charles, who now is King Charles. But that shows you that when you meet the royal family in the UK, that constitutes superstardom to a whole nother level, mainstream to a whole nother level. Now, is Sean O'Malley there? Maybe not. But I think after this performance against Chito Vera, well, it's hard to argue with that, considering that he was great with his stance switches. Not only that, he was very much amazing with being able to fight from a distance, dart in and out, being able to hit the shots and pick the shots, and also just being able to neutralize any game that Marlon Vera was going to throw at him. In other words, just really smothered him to the point where it was as if he debilitated the movement of Marlon Vera. In other words, the darting movement in and out and the constant jabs and stance switching, I believe, was overloading Marlon Vera. And as a result, he was able to obtain about 183 some odd shots against Marlon Vera. And one of them was a knee that he took to the face as he was about to shoot in for a takedown, or sort of ducked in a way, and then took a knee to the head as a result. And it was great. It was amazing. It was an amazing performance, but even more amazing for Anthony Joshua. So, as I'm talking about this weekend's past fights, I really want to get down to business with the realities of other fighters out there that are not Sean O'Malley or Anthony Joshua, which literally are the biggest winners of this weekend, and for the reasons that I had just mentioned. So, as a result, a lot of fighters have to take side jobs after they retire or while they're even competing. And why am I mentioning that? Well, for one, Sean Strickland talked about the Roadhouse movie and how he trashed it as a reflection of fighters and what they go through in terms of having a side job or a post-job career. Meaning that when they're done with fighting, this is what they have going on. I got to tell you, not everyone is going to obtain a certain level of longevity. Speaking of longevity, I'm watching No Jumper right now with Whack 100 and Adam interviewing, guess who? The Insane Clown Posse, right? Now, why is this sort of interesting, and why I'm telling you that I'm watching this is because I'm very fascinated with the longevity of the Insane Clown Posse, right? Like, if you remember, these guys are known for their beef with Eminem, right? And because of this beef that they have with Eminem, they sort of had a mainstream following to a certain degree, but they've always had a base of fans that follow them, known as the Juggalos and whatnot. And I got loads of stories I could tell you about that particular group of people, and the type of fan base that they have, and the type of belief that they think that they are in a gang of some sort or some imaginary fantasy like that. But nonetheless, what we're talking about here is the longevity of some fighters who are a main staple, have a fan base, just like ICP in the way that I'm mentioning right now, but also have accumulated a certain amount of wealth over the years that they've done whatever craft they were in, right? But then there are those people that are the majority, which exactly is what Sean Strickland is talking about with the Roadhouse movie. as a mirror to the world of mixed martial arts and its majority participants that are involved in it. And how ironic that it is Conor McGregor who plays the I'm sorry, not the protagonist, because obviously Jake Gyllenhaal is the protagonist, but rather the antagonist of the movie, in order to sort of symbolize that what we have going on here is a man who is on top, above everybody, an established name, somebody that is, well, very well respected to a certain degree in the industry, not so much of their moral choices, but sort of symbolically knocking down the smaller man. Because remember, I'll give you one example with Conor McGregor and his little spat that he had with Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall made a comment about Conor McGregor's upcoming fight, or somehow made an opinion about his career trajectory. And as a result, Conor McGregor threatened to somehow pull Tom Aspinall from some sort of sponsorship deal, and said something along the lines of, well, I could starve you if I wanted, right? Which, by the way, is an overall sentiment that Conor McGregor has. And for what reason? Well, for the simple fact that he is the man on top. And he is a guy that can dictate where the UFC is going to go in terms of their trajectory and their monetary gains. But at the same time, also the controversial subject of their contract disputes and barriers that come into play with him being so big that they can't barely afford to pay the overhead costs while also paying him the amount of money that he's worth, considering that the Saudis are out there ready to pay him hundreds of millions of dollars. So this story, with Sean Strickland saying this about the Roadhouse movie, really takes a whole different web of networks and different pathways to look at this particular situation, especially in a symbolic matter. Because the character that Jake Gyllenhaal plays in that movie is exactly the type of guy that most fighters are. And in here comes Conor McGregor sort of knocking him down to what? To a level that, well, could lead a lot of these guys into poverty, but also having to make different choices into different types of jobs and career opportunities that they have or don't have. So that is the reality of Roadhouse, and I think a whole big credit to Sean Strickland for being able to see that and also really just convey that message to the world, because there's a lot of truth to that symbolism. So don't forget to like and subscribe with a symbol of gesture. Share, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Inshallah.